Welcome to this week's edition of the Wiccan Forum. I'm Robert Vecchio.
And I'm Steve Pulowski.
And we are here again with Manny Ali.
Nice to be here again.
Okay, on this week's edition, we have some upcoming events. We're going to talk about those. We're going to talk about Steve's running a Dark of the Moon ritual this Saturday. Manny, a couple weeks ago, you did the May full moon.
Yes, I did.
We're going to incorporate a new section of this talk show called the Food Blog. Because we've got some restaurants that we either want to put in the Hall of Shame or the Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about the 7-week-old now oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, and also the witch trials that are happening in Nigeria. Okay, first of all, the upcoming events. Bridget Benjamin is going to be back for a past life regression seminar on Friday, June 25th. It's at 8 o'clock, and it's $35, and it's a 1-week seminar for a couple of hours. She's also teaching a dowsing class on July 9th, which is a Friday. It's a 2-week seminar of $25 a week. So July 9th and July 16th. And her past lives regressions are amazing.
They really are. They're phenomenal.
So.
And the dowsing class was fantastic.
Oh, the dowsing class was... You know, I've always known to do pendulums with a yes and no. I never knew so much more.
She expanded on it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Also, Wendy Rule will be back for the 3rd time at the store. Her new CD is
Guided by Venus.
I couldn't hear it. I couldn't understand your writing again. Guided by Venus. She'll be here. It'll be here for sale also. And she'll be here July 7th at 7 p.m. It's a Wednesday. The next day she leaves for Australia. So we're very fortunate that she can fit us in her schedule. And she's always welcome here. Maybe we can get her on the talk show. That would be exciting. Also, I'm starting a class starting June 23rd. It's $20 a week for 12 weeks. At the end of the class, you'll be initiated into the first degree. Something to look forward to. Steve, you'll be teaching candle magic. I almost said history. He's teaching history.
History of Wicca. You know, not only your classes. Every time I've sat through your classes, they're always new and innovative. And your guest teachers, they always bring something new to the subject, too.
You see, I don't mean to be vulgar, but I always think I suck at teaching.
But you have expanded so much in your teaching skills.
I know I have, but I'm the first one to tell me that I really am horrible. Like, I always think I never give enough information, or if I give too much information, or I bore people to death, or if I have a planner of stuff that I'm just reading through. Like, I don't want to be one of those teachers that, like, sit there and, like this.
But I feel the same way when I'm teaching the candle magic.
So I don't want to keep reading. So I might incorporate like a blackboard this time or something to keep it different.
Spice it up, change it up.
Just a little bit.
That's why I
always walk around more
too.
And maybe just sit over here and have everybody over there. So different. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Okay. You're up again. The Dark of the Moon ritual.
The Dark of the Moon. My hardest part of the Dark of the Moon ritual was to keep it strictly looking like it was a Dark of the Moon ritual, because I have so many things I could use on the altar that I am saving for my Samhain ritual. So I had to tamp it down and simplify my altar tools and things. And
so what does the Dark of the Moon represent? The
Dark of the Moon represents the start of the new moon. It's when the moon is at its darkest and the moon starts to wax and get bigger again, and it's a good time for banishing. So I'm taking this time to banish negativity, and for people that feel like they've been crossed or hexed, we're going to do a special thing during the ritual, and we're going to burn it after the ritual to uncross or unhex or just generally banish all that darkness that we feel like we're walking through.
And it's also good to mention you must wear all black.
Of course you have to wear all black because you can't be seen by the
elements.
Purple. No purple, no red, no little hiking shorts. I'm sorry, you must dress appropriately or you won't get through the door. Okay. And no Megadeth t-shirts, please.
Let's move on to the May full moon. Manju, that was a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, it was.
Tell us about that.
It was a Friday night. It was May 28th. The May full moon is usually called the flower moon, which is commonly known by. And it also, to me, goes hand in hand with April seeds moon. A lot of the seeds that were planted during April have now bloomed, and they come to fruition in May, which is one of the reasons it's called the flower moon. The typical colors for the flower moon would be red, orange, yellow, which are bright colors that can be, which represent the spring and stuff like that. So,
I'm sorry, I didn't get the memo of red, orange, and yellow.
that's
I'm sorry.
quite alright. It happens. It happens.
I don't think I own a red shirt.
A lot of magical workings that have to do with the May's full moon can involve anything involving a career or a job. And it's a good time to do any kind of positivity spell, because that's when they say is the best time for it to come true, for it to happen. And in some cases it also has to do hand in hand with Beltane, where it has to do with fertility as well. The May full moon is also the last full moon in the spring's lunar cycle that has to do with the element of water, the other two being April and March. And it's a good time because, the water is what makes the flowers bloom, and, it has to do with feelings and emotions and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's because the moon controls the emotion and it controls the tides.
Yes, exactly. So.
We have taped the segment already for it, and of you explaining your altar, and it'll be able to be seen.
Yes.
I like the way that your last ritual brings in the positive, and my upcoming ritual is going to banish everything negative around us.
It all seems to go hand in hand without it working that way.
It just works
on
out
purpose.
that way on its own.
Exactly.
You couldn't plan it on purpose. It
No.
wouldn't work.
So we're going to incorporate a new segment into our talk show. It's called the Food Blog. We're going to, talk about some restaurants that we've had some really good experiences and some not so good experiences. And it has nothing to do with Wicca, but it's just our own personal views. We're all critics down deep, so Minnie, why don't you start us off?
Okay, well, on Saturday, May 29th, we actually had to go down to Barnegat for an event, and before that event, we actually stopped to get something to eat. It was a little hole-in-one place, didn't look like much, and it was actually called Johnny's Wings and Things. It didn't look like much from the outside, but when we walked in, it was a very homely, quaint atmosphere. The decor of the restaurant took you back to the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
You walked in, it was an old style ice cream bar, and the booths and the tables that were in the diner. It was a very, very nice place to sit at. It was just very, back in the day kind of place. And even the tables themselves brought you back there. It was tables, and on the tables there's also a sheet of glass, and between the table and the sheet of glass were old articles and newspaper clippings from that time as well. They had a very, very choicey menu. What's the word I'm looking for? A wide array of foods on their menu.
They had different kind of food because we had buffalo shrimp.
Yes.
And they were really good. And I love Reuben sandwiches, but I've never had one as an open sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had it like
Well, that's what it is.
Sandwich.
They had sandwiches, they had burgers,
Yeah.
they had hot dogs.
And you can make your own hot dog.
You can make
your own toppings if you wanted cheese and mustard and blah 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 blah. It was great. You just filled out a form and you gave it to the waiter.
Yes.
And he didn't hound you.
No, the prices were very reasonable, and the staff themselves were very nice. It was it was a very, very nice place. Like I said, the staff was nice. You didn't feel like you were rushed. They were all very nice, very polite. They did their best to help you, make sure you had everything you needed.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to see who's in our Hall of Shame.